Thank you very much for sharing all your insights into how climate change is impacting here in Fiji. I think maybe we should discuss something that's really crucial to the region, particularly in terms of international discussions, being the Loss and Damage Fund, climate finance, and how that's being filtered into Fiji, and sort of what plans are for how that money might be utilised through programs, through initiatives, making sure it's getting to the right people.
Thank you. So here in the Climate Change Division in the office that I work for, a huge part of our mandate is to be policymakers in the area of climate change. So we develop policies that highlights our country's priorities in terms of climate adaptation, climate mitigation, and also the Ocean Climate Nexus. And through these policies, we then developed our Climate Change Act, which further gives mandate to the bodies and the policies that we've set in place. So issues that we face with climate financing in general is access. We are a developing nation. We don't have a lot of expertise that can assist us in putting out these big proposals for large-scale projects to assist us with the impacts of climate change that we're facing. But it is a work in progress, and we have accessed quite a substantial amount of climate financing when you consider the size of our population and the resources that we have available. So we make do with what we have. Although there are still issues that we see, GCF funds, it is not an easy task to get a successful GCF project endorsed, and this is something that is an issue that we're facing. We also, because of climate change, we have to relocate communities, and with that we established policies, and we also established a relocation trust fund. Because it was very difficult to get multilateral climate financing to assist with our relocation efforts, the government of Fiji looked upon itself to set up a trust fund and dedicate a certain percentage of public finance into it, and also look into developed countries and partners that can look into also putting direct grants into this trust fund to assist us in relocating our communities. Here in Fiji, we have a lot of other priorities, which for me, working in the climate change space, I totally understand. We have issues with health, we have issues with employment, we have issues with improving infrastructure that the government needs to put a lot more focus on because of people's livelihoods and just people surviving day to day. And climate change is for us, it's something that we look to climate financing to come in and assist us with some of these impacts and also some of the development needs. So right now we are relocating one community that has been displaced for 4 years, and over 4 years being displaced, staying in a makeshift housing condition. When you go past it, it kind of reminds you of like a refugee camp because of people staying in temporary housing. And it's very unfortunate to see that happening. And we do our best with what we can. And the main issue that we face is that we just don't have the funds to relocate these communities. So now that we have the funds, we're finally relocating them. This will be Fiji's biggest relocation, over 30 houses that the government of Fiji will be building. And building, not just building, but building back better, ensuring that they have a sustainable way of life, using renewable energy, using a cleaner form of waste management, and also looking at a more sustainable source of livelihood in terms of how they use the pesticides and fertilizers, just in a way that it can be impactful in the long run. So what we're hoping from the Loss and Damage Fund is that it assists us with the gaps that we see climate financing falls short of. One of the major things that we have seen is when we put in proposals when we put in the word planned relocation or relocation, it gets turned back. for us to, because they do not see it as something under adaptation. It is something on loss and damage. So we're optimistic that the Loss and Damage Fund would assist us with the relocation of communities. We're relocating one community right now. We have almost 50 communities that have requested to be relocated. So this is our reality of, and while we're relocating this community, we might have another tropical cyclone. Our tropical cyclone season is from November to April, and until we go past April, then we will be sure that all our communities will be safe. But if there's another tropical cyclone, there's a good chance that a community will be devastated and need to be relocated. So that is just the reality that we face here in a country like Fiji.
I imagine that's putting a lot of pressure on sort of government services to meet the need of so many different communities who all have different things that they might require, different livelihoods that they rely on. To be able to fulfill all that must be particularly difficult.
Very, very, very difficult. Especially when you work in the civil service, where you're answerable to the taxpayers or to the people of this country, and rightly so. We're here to serve the people, and we have to do our best. Our team that looks into the policies and climate financing for relocation and the adaptation needs of the country is just a team of 3. Right now it's just a team of 1 because we have 2 vacancies and that is taking some time. So it does not mean that we just sit around. It means we just have to work 3 times harder to get things done because of the people that are relying on the work that we do, how well we coordinate ourselves, and how well we mobilize the little resources we have.
It's an uphill climb, I think, but it must be done.
It must be done.